general sense is no. Most Jews seem to agree with me, but like, I don't know, let's see if it works out. But mostly, the criticism of you is not your technique, your approach, your kind of emotional way to play into the discussion. It's more...
I actually don't have an agenda, by the way. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just here to bluff.
I disagree, and it's really suspicious for anyone to claim they don't have an agenda. But regardless...
I don't believe I can change people's minds. I'm just here to blow up steam and get some, you know...
That's irrelevant. Your desire to change people's minds is irrelevant. What I'm saying is my disdain for your position has nothing to do with the way you're feeling out, the way you want to talk. My problem is that it's stupid and dangerous, and that's how most people seem to be reacting to it.
Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
The roast of Buttercup!
I don't know, Daniel, do you find sort of this, I don't know if you hear this, I think there's a difference between the way Israelis talk about defend Israel and the way Americans defend Israel. Don't you think there's something a little crude and imbecilic about the way these sort of pro-Israel, rah-rah-rah cheerleaders from America, the way we speak about Israel is
okay,
like,
this is the roast of Buttercup.
Sliced bread,
Where McZad so very delicately told her that she's stupid and dangerous.
And they're not realistic.
Oh my God, this is the roast of Buttercup. This is a Buttercup struggle session therapy room. Thanks for being here and good Shabbos.
You were talking about do no wrong, so I don't think you can confuse me. I've been on the app and I've spoke to many Jewish Americans that are actually for Israel. Never ever, to be honest, and I'm completely honest, never ever heard anyone, not on the app, but also like on Twitter or like on social media, Israel can do no wrong. Never heard it. I'm completely honest. I heard you say it a few times actually.
I always heard Norm being like, even the dogs in Israel are amazing. The service is perfect. Trees are greener. You never hear it go wax poetic on Israel?
Buttercup is exaggerating.
Norm
has said something along the lines of what Buttercup said earlier, that Israel is the most moral army in the world. Never has the army had fewer casualties in XYZ situation. Some of these things are demonstratively untrue, and some of them are, the most moral army in the world. Okay, is it demonstratively untrue? No, but it's not demonstratively true. It's kind of an exaggeration.
Hold on.
Buttercup is right. Buttercup is right. This rings hollow to a lot of people. And it's not a good form of advocacy.
And also, I want to say that Norm did say...
I'm in the middle of answering your question.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Norm did say he went into a shelter and none of the dogs barked, because even the dogs in Israel are amazing and so polite and perfect. He did say that, I swear.
Okay, so talking about calling Israel the idea of the most moral army in the world, or talking about the casualty numbers, is not the same as Israel is doing no wrong. With one I can actually debate, and with the other I cannot, or like I cannot defend at least, or I don't agree with. But with the one we can kind of, I don't compare it to, I like to be honest, like in Berlin we don't have dogs, in New York, actually no, like in the streets, like at home, yes.
No, when there's bombings, did the dogs bark? Did they get stressed out like every other dog, or are they special in Israel?
They don't get stressed out. Like the two dogs that I've been during alarms, like very, I guess they learn, they may be on the first time, but it's not like every time they see how the family behaves, and they see that everything is in order. It's like, when we hear the ring, he knows that the family goes to this room. So no, they're not panicked because I guess it depends on the family, if the family is starting to shout, and I don't think it's happening anymore, because it's kind of became, Pavlovic response. It started with dogs, and this is exactly what a siren is, So, yes, but I don't think it's...
Okay,
if you kind of look into it, you could understand things. And also, we talk about the moral army in the world. We can just talk about it, but just like to dismiss it is basically like what you are basically blaming him. You're basically blaming... For him even saying it's so ridiculous, and you're just dismissing it, I could see as just as ridiculous. Yes, and this you can have a conversation. in any case, none of them. Hold on, but none of them. You just mentioned normal, but she actually said that Jews are having this idea or this emotion or this notion or this. They say it that Israel cannot do wrong, and this sentiment I did not personally feel with all my discussion with many American Jews. This is my point. That's it. So if she exaggerated, I think that
this is what I hear, and you hear something else. So we have a very different takeaway from these rooms.
Yes, but what you hear is not what they're saying. And when you present to me, you want to have a debate.
I present an internal dialogue that's happening in the Jewish community,
so
and they call me a capo. That's shutting down.
Yes, in my world, I'm not having a discussion about your world, okay? If you're saying that this is what they said.
I go into your rooms and I present normal things that are happening in the Israeli discourse, and they call me a capo.
He literally said it, Daniel. He literally said it. And Buttercup isn't dismissing it.
Israel cannot. No, but you said he didn't say it.
He said Israel has the most moral army in the world, okay? And this is the kind of thing. Buttercup is not dismissing it. She's saying it's bad advocacy.
No, you're dismissing it.
I'm not dismissing it either. I'm saying bad advocacy.
She did not say this.
Hollow. She did indeed say that, yes.
I'm having a discussion with like a two-head monster. She's saying cannot do no wrong.
Well,
and then you're answering with me about but this is a different argument.
I'm saying it rings hollow. It's bad advocacy.
Jason, can you wait? I cannot have two conversations at the same time. When I'm answering Buttercup, you are answering me about a different conversation. With Buttercup, the conversation is about Israel cannot do wrong. And you're answering me as if I'm answering to the most moral army in the world. You need to choose, like, what are we talking about? Her claim is not your claim. It's not the same conversation.
She made a range of claims.
So anyway. She didn't say any of it. She said,
move on.
It's really hard because
you feel so you're good at multitasking. Try to talk to both of us.
Come on. You asked a question.
It's not a chaotic room. There's like two people in here. Just respond to me and then to him.
It is chaotic.
Start with me.
There was a question at the beginning, and I already forgot it. Like,
it was whether or not Israel can do no wrong, or whether or not Israel has.
No. I said I'll repeat it. I think
this I remember.
In your rooms, I try to present arguments. No, in the rooms. In the rooms.
This is my room right now.
No, I associate you with Bibi Kapara and Harry and Norm and all those folks.
In your world, I understand. I always need to understand that we're not talking about reality.
We're talking about Clubhouse and the effective dialogue, right? Where I walk into the Bibi Kapara houses, which you're obviously in this corner most of the time, pretty much all the time, with Harry, with Norm.
I need to stop you, okay? There is one Jewish room usually, okay? We used to have back then, it was with the mayor at Make Awareness Great Again. It's no longer there. There was the times that there was like a jazz. It's not like you're there, okay? This is what we have, okay? This is what we have, one. And you see also that many times when you open a room, a lot of people shift to you. They're not like, we're not like, it's like it's Clubhouse. It's not like in many rooms, like 2 rooms, maybe 1. Come on, stop making a big story over nothing.
The Jewish room is clothing optional coffee.
They say, Daniel.
What the Jewish room is clothing optional coffee.
Okay.
This is another one, yes, but yes, this is more like a casual, kind of like a more friendly. This is basically like this is more like friendly group, okay? The people there are friends. They're hanging out as friends. Yes, this is clothing optional.
No, it's not just
Daniel.
Because in all your life, right? Jews and Jews.
God, you guys, it's like Nuremberg trials up here.
Listen, Daniel.
Following orders is no
defense. Exaggerating in order to kind of make like weird claims.
No, Daniel. I came on here to have a dialogue with my people. Okay, I know you think I'm interested in just engaging with Amir's room. I came here specifically because I want to talk to my people. I don't get to talk to a lot of Jews about this.
And you see,
it's not a topic I could talk about in polite company where I live. So I really enjoy it, and that's why I talk to you guys. But I get so much abuse there that I don't get in the other room. And I'm not saying
Well,
that you represent all their views,
You like
but
it.
I'm just
But
saying.
but you know that you're.
But all I'm doing is representing views that you know Israelis have too. You know?
Yes, yes. Listen, but you are on an audio app, okay, and people are using their voice, and you know that you say things in order sometimes to provoke. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, did you get the attention? Okay, you came to Clubhouse like a month ago. You're getting attention. You're opening room. You have confidence. Like, and yes, and you're the victim. But yes, the victim is the car. Then you see, I don't know how many people are here right now. I mean, come on. How much is this?
You want to talk to your people? Devin in the chat says he wants to be brought up, and he's kind of implying that you don't bring him up. So
Because he's annoying, but I'll bring him up if you really
what do you mean
want
he's
to.
annoying? Like
He is a little annoying.
Devin, no, he's not.
All right, Devin, you want to come up? Where's Devin? All right, come on up, but just make your points.
And just so you know, I'm muting with my headphones because every time something is in the app, every time that I mute on the app, it kind of silence it for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
And Daniel, is your PTR making fun of Buttercup?
Yeah, like listen, I don't mind that you guys tease me.
It's not making fun. It's maybe like when she say like how it is in her mind. So in my mind, she's using the David shield.
If there's one of me going around with Hitler, I'd rather Daniel's than the Hitler one.
It's more like a presentation. It's more like a caricature to represent like a story. I mean,
How I see myself.
Oh, I mean, that would make for a really great story. Like if you imagined a tiny little cartoon girl in Israel. No. Slow down.
So I can't tell if I'm leading an army of Hamasniks or if I'm fighting an army of Hamasniks.
You're leading them. You're obviously leading them. They're in front of you.
No. She's not leading them. This is a shield.
Yeah.
She's defending them.
She's defending them, exactly.
She's leading the Jewish people.
She's using come on.
This is high art, Daniel. It's high art.
She's using Judaism as a shield. Okay, she's putting herself as a shield.
Okay, but you'll notice.
People.
PTR is Buttercup defending Hamas. Is this real, Daniel?
Yeah, she's defending Hamas.
Defending, not fighting. She's a lover. She's a lover, not a fighter.
She's a defender. She's a defender of the.
There's like a sea now of parodies. I gotta say, like imitation's the best form of flattery. So.
And you love it, right? Exactly.
It's very bad. I'm becoming a narcissist because of you guys.
Press is better than no press.
Well, yeah, you're not handling the technology of the app very well.
Part of it is that you didn't use that your own face, so it made it kind of more like I wouldn't do it probably if it was your face. Like your real. But
No, I don't mind it. I think it's cute. I think yours is my favorite, Daniel. Yours is my favorite.
Yeah, Daniel, that's very artistic.
You're very prickly.
Thank you.
Daniel's art is also layered.
No,
there's interpretation.
I do it. Yaakov.
You're good? Wow, I didn't know you.
No, come on. I didn't. Come on. No, of course AI.
No, I don't know. You could be an artist in hiding. I don't know.
AI.
But how did you?
But just so you know, like
hair right in the band, like.
I'm just gonna tell you like a hack, okay? You cannot tell him to put like a Hamas headband, okay?
Right.
I had to tell him a story that that she's defending them and they're wearing a green headband, like the color of her eyes, and to put like a bit like of white Arabic gibberish on them.
You got it. You can trick AI that way.
PTR? Did you upload your PTR? Like, how did you get that face?
I'll tell you, the effort you put into the AI generation of the image really shines through.
Exactly. You see it in the reference.
I'm gonna try to do it because I asked ChatGPT to generate an image of Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls with a Star of David shield with the IDF behind him.
Right, nice.
It said I can't help doing that.
No, he would have to have a sword. He'd have to have a sword to complete the narrative.
I'm gonna try to create a narrative and get that image.
Yeah, she's a superhero.
He can throw like a Jewish star, like
I'm too old.
A 6-pointed star.
Exactly.
No, because I it wasn't like anything bad. She's like She's defending them. She's a superhero. She has a shield, you know.
I
They
think this
love her.
parody totally works, and it'll explain the whole conflict.
Okay, I want to hear from Beatrice, because Beatrice is from Amir's room. I know her from there.
What about
And-
Devin? You brought him up first.
I know, I'll hear it from Devin after, but Beatrice, I'm
Benyamin is
interested.
working on the project.
I'm interested in
I
Beatrice
actually,
because you guys,
I know
because the
you
premise
are.
here is that me having this nuanced view where I'm critical of Israel, but I also have deep affection for my Jewish people. They're saying it's bad for the overall. It's worse for the Jewish people than what the propagandists in Bipara's room do, where they just lie and deny and sugarcoat and fetishize Israel all day. So I'm curious, as an outsider who spends a lot of time in Amir's room, do you feel like what I'm doing is how does it shape the way you see Jewish people, Israel, the Jewish state? Beatrix, I'm curious of your view.
So, I think you remember Buttercup. They were kind of like attacking you and calling you a Zionist, and I stood up for you and said, like, look, she might not understand certain things about Islam. I don't get to really clarify my views a lot either. Like, the thing is, you don't even have to like Muslims, Buttercup. Like, you don't even have to really even like the Palestinians. You know,
I do. I have no problem with
I know. I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't. But I'm saying the way that they were kind of attacking you, because I told them, I was like, look, she was raised Jewish. She's not raised a Muslim. Why are you guys expecting her to know anything about Islam? When I was growing up, I didn't know anything about Islam. You know, like it's not really relevant to what we're talking about. And I know that you're older than me. You have a lot more experience than I do. You have a lot more knowledge than I do. You really don't need me to defend you. But the reason why I did is because, first off, you have a stronger voice than I do because you are Jewish. And it's like, look, my parents are Zionists. My parents are never going to listen to me because they don't see me as one of them. But the thing is, I don't want to see radicalism on either side. I don't like when people talk crap about Jews and say they're evil and they're this and they're that. And it's actually frustrating getting called anti-Semitic because I do like Jewish people and I don't want people to be attacked. I don't want anybody to go on a subway and attack a Jewish woman and her kids or a man or, you know what I'm saying? I've never felt that way about Jewish people and I don't want to see them attacked and I don't want to see them ostracized. And so I don't want radicalism on either side. And I think that's something that's really important about you because it almost seems like you get attacked from both sides. And it's kind of just like, well, you should be able to speak freely without being ostracized because it's
just for having a nuanced view, yeah.
Yeah, it's way more dangerous, and it's not like we agree on everything.
And who's more credible? Like, who sounds more credible, me or Bibi Kapara, who's just like, wow, they invented cherry tomatoes and they have the most
I think
moral
you're a
in the
bit
world.
pushing it, like who sounds more credible, and you're using the word nuance, which I find very interesting. Nuance is actually
different point of view. It's not credible.
Yeah, exactly. Not nuance also. Nuance is more like actually it's the opposite of nuanced a bit.
I'm critical of Israeli leadership and Palestinian leadership. I think both of them failed their people. What do you mean? That's nuance. That's right in the middle.
I think that you are coming with a specific agenda that is not about.
I think both people deserve better leadership. How is that attacking anyone? I'm defending both people.
But it's not nuanced, okay? It's just your view. All right, nuanced is a word that should be. Women should not be allowed to use the word nuanced anymore. It should be illegal. No women use it.
I think you are more credible because, given your position, you're not biased. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a bias. You're bringing into consideration perspectives from both sides, so you will always be more credible.
I'm also coming from a humanist perspective instead of a tribal perspective, which other people tend to come from.
And that's one of the things why Buttercup thinks that she has a superior point of view. Humanistic, both sides. I don't know if she was born Muslim, so
Everyone
I'm for the people against governments. I hate power. Power needs to be able to account to Daniel.
This is not what's different. None of this is what really differentiates us from you from us, okay? I think actually we could even argue the opposite. this is not the thing that
How is
is
the dangerous thing? It's
different
easily
with you.
corrupted.
That's the thing you gaslight everyone that argues with you.
But we agree with you. I mean,
Daniel, you agree with me.
That's all-
That's
that is
not
what
what J.B.
you agree.
Kapara thinks.
no,
You
no,
agree.
no. I never had that you had a discussion about it. But also, power corrupts is also not a nuanced point of view, and I don't think it's such a unique. And also,
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't
people
be.
should
Right,
not.
you choose everyone of arguing
Also,
against your platitudes.
Children and like innocent civilians should die is also like not nuanced and
Thank you, Daniel.
not so unique
Thank
to
you.
you,
See,
and
we
not so
agree.
unique to you.
Thank you.
No, we all agree to
So why are you
this.
calling me a radical?
Because this is not your point of view. This is not exactly. This is not what
Because
differentiates
you're
you.
not presenting the things people consider radical about your views right now.
This is not what is radical.
And more importantly, I think everyone's opinion is unique. That's why it's an opinion, it's not fact. But
Mine isn't.
yeah, I know, exactly. But to say that it almost comes across as you're superior to Bibi. And the reality is that, no, you're not.
No, that's not Yaakov. He claims I'm bad for I'm a threat to the Jewish people and their
And
safety.
you're saying he's worse. Like, literally, you're...
Right, so that's what the showdown
Exactly.
is. Who's worse?
We're both wrong about that. And it's
Amos and
not
Ellie
that
thinks
big a
that
deal.
think he's worse.
I agree. We're both wrong.
The BB is definitely worse.
But I receive a lot more
I
abuse
agree
than
with
Bibi.
everybody.
I'm abused constantly on this app.
Okay, get
I'm threatened by the pro-Israel. They threaten to dox me. They threaten to
Oh, maybe they don't like you.
drown me.
Why don't you zoom out and think about Israel as part of a system, an American system of how the world works, and ask yourself what's good for America, Buttercup.
Right.
Ask yourself,
So it's
So,
an extension
Jason,
of
I
America.
assume you think that Israel's good for America overall.
Israel is good for America, yeah. And I hope someday Saudi Arabia and Egypt will be good for America too, and Qatar, with Israel's help.
So I think America has certain laws about how its bombs are used, and I think Israel has violated those standards over and over and over again. And we have an obligation to do something about it because that's what our laws dictate, right? We have to
All right,
hold
so
ourselves
let's
to
do
certain
that.
Who said that there was violation?
What does that have to do with? Whoa! So
Are you
what does that have to do with?
referring to
No, they use the usage of 3,000
Right,
pound
so
bombs in
what?
densely populated area is a violation of our
I
standards.
agree. Wonderful. So what? Therefore what?
But you agreed, Jakob. So as Americans,
I'm agreeing with you. Therefore
No,
what?
it's gross. The Leahy laws refer to gross violations of human rights.
dropping a 3,000 pound bomb in a densely populated
There's no
area is a
3,000
gross
pound bomb.
violation of
There's
human
2,000.
rights.
The maximum is
There was
2,000.
no military justification for it.
How do you know?
Okay.
Are you
Wait.
intentional?
How do you know?
Slow down.
3,000
Can I
pound bombs
just-
wipe out a whole block. A populated
Okay.
block.
Wonderful.
Maybe that,
Hey,
but
hey,
maybe
hey,
not a
hey.
military
They
necessity.
used a
There was
bomb
not.
and they broke a regulation. That's what you're saying? They used a bomb we sold
They
them and they
constantly
didn't
break
use.
regulations with our bombs.
Okay,
and that's
fine.
on
They
us.
constantly. That's wonderful. They
That's my
constantly
tax
break
dollars.
regulations.
Of course I should care.
That feels like a problem that we Americans should leverage in diplomatic channels. No.
Yes. And we're trying.
So what does that have to do
But
with
whenever
whether or
it
not?
happens, the Israelis
Whoa!
and
Hey! Slow down. What does that have to do with the question we were discussing? Is Israel good for America?
Israel's not good for America if it's
Why
using
not?
our bombs to commit war crimes.
Who cares? We'll just leverage that in diplomacy, as you just said.
Well, no.
I'm saying you would prefer a greater Syria, perhaps a larger Egypt, perhaps Jordan. Is that who we should interact with?
Buttercup, one thing they're asking you to do is consider the alternative. The alternative isn't Israel. The choices are not Israel is perfectly nice or Israel does bad things. The alternatives include things like Israel loses and the other forces in that region are more powerful and they're worse for America than Israel, okay? But I also think that's a very big if. Israel is using American weaponry to commit war crimes. The standard that people use when they ascribe war crimes to Israel is very loose and imperfect. And there are a lot of details there. And I don't think what you've said...
Jason, you think Israel has committed no war crimes? Is that what you're suggesting?
What you've described in this case does not add up to a war crime, okay? Using a heavy bomb to destroy a building is not illegal.
No, numerous dumb bombs.
Using numerous heavy bombs to destroy a building is not illegal.
They've dropped more bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's
Yes,
not a
but
small...
the Israelis
Not a densely populated area of mostly
Big
kids.
Sad, hold on. There are real facts to talk about here. Buttercup, how many people died when Hiroshima when that bomb was dropped?
I don't remember. I don't know.
It's like 100,000 people, okay? So this is kind of a clue that what Israel is doing is a lot more surgical and precise and measured than carpet bombing.
That was
Okay,
one
and then nuclear, then destroying city. Well, firebombing has also killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Jason, it seems like you've been following the conflict a long time. As you know, whenever there's a war, Israel tends, as a matter of policy, they tend to react emotionally to every provocation, and they overreact. And so the only thing that restrains them at the end, the only thing that curbs the war at the end, is pressure from Western powers. It's always been America that restrains Israel, and they say no more, and they say use restraints. Otherwise, Israel doesn't use restraints, right? And so, really, without an American government that restrains Israel, things are going to be excessive, and things are going to provide a huge liability for both America and for Israel, because we don't have the normal checks and balances, which is the U.S. in its ear saying time to use restraint, time to wrap things up, time to stop. And so this is the biggest danger for both our country and their country.
No, Buttercup. I would say that the biggest danger is America telling Israel to stop.
Israel has always told Israel to stop. Every war is stopped because America is in its ear.
Stop doing it. America needs to stop doing it.
America needs to use its leverage to control and out of control.
I'm going to explain why, Buttercup, and you need to listen to why, okay? Because if you don't actually defeat the enemies, there is not peace.
The enemy's been defeated. They've accomplished everything they can accomplish, and they're just killing more of their own soldiers now.
It makes no sense ending or winning wars is not a decision.
Numerous top Israeli generals disagree with you, Jason.
It does not matter. That is not a decision that they get to make in any country, because they are subject to civilian authority, and military activity is an extension of political activity by other means. Okay, that's the Clausewitzian rule there. Okay. And in America also, they didn't want to drop the atomic bomb. In America, we didn't want to go for total victory in the Second World War. That was a political direction and requirement. And the reason generals don't make those decisions is because ultimately these things have to be decided on what's good for the country by civilian authorities, not by military authorities who are kind of technician. Okay, so they are allowed to have their own opinion. That doesn't make it right, and you can't quote it like it's the correct one, and the civilian authority's opinion is the wrong one. There's a reason that the civilian authorities are the leaders and the military authorities are not. And that's why I think that we have made a big mistake preventing Israel being able to pursue these conflicts to the end and actually achieve victory over their enemies, total victory, and force them to surrender.
So Jason,
it's the only way that the Second World War could have ended.
Jason, I want to address something you said about civilians. You know, the civilians in Israel feel that the current government is not representing them, and that the current leadership is deeply compromised by factions in its government.
Some do and some don't.
Over the vast majority, according to surveys.
No.
Okay,
Randy, post a survey. Let me post a survey in the chat.
You want to represent a country that is not
from right wing
Yes, but it doesn't matter if you're right or not about that. That has nothing to do with the prosecution of the war in an informed way. Civilian authorities, not civilians generally, are the ones who have access to all the intelligence and information from the military they need, and B, they're the ones who are entrusted with the interests of the civilian society, who are civilians, who are part of the civilian society and know what's going on there, which the generals don't, by and large. And that's why they make this decision in times of war. And in times of war, yes, you have this, great, I guess you could say, restriction, narrowing of people's freedom and autonomy, or their ability to influence outcomes for the country. But that's true in every country, and it's because war is extremely dangerous. And what I disagree with you fundamentally about, Buttercup, is that the U.S. should not be telling Israel to knock off their war and not achieve total victory And we have done it over and over
So
again.
total victory
And that,
is a vague, like not quantifiable goal, and the purpose of it is to be a foil for Netanyahu so that he can continue the war for his own political interests.
No, it is not. It is not.
That's what the Israeli people think. It's not me, Jason. You should talk to some Israelis. That's what Daniel thinks exactly. Okay, because he's Israeli.
I'm talking about something that
It's the renewal of Hamas. That is not
Hamas
it.
is already been
unconditional.
completely
No, it
devastated.
is not
It's very-
removed.
It is very
It is not.
simple
They're still
what total
They've
fighting.
offered to
victory
step
is.
down. That's the same thing.
It's very
They've already
simple.
offered to step down.
On their terms. On their terms.
Guys,
No, you're misrepresenting
You're
the
allowed to be
intellectually.
It's called surrender, silly.
You're
On their terms
charged,
means they surrender.
No.
about total
It's not
victory.
going to happen the first day. They
It
want to
is-
fuck around.
So this is when you say
You're
total victory,
charged.
it's so vague.
This is tequila.
No, it's not.
This is
It's not
tequila.
vague. It's been
not vague.
They have
Get back
offered to
to
step
hostages
down, and yet
multiple times.
Bibi Netanyahu uses this total victory phrase as a
total
foil
victory.
so that he doesn't have to end the
No,
war.
he doesn't. He's referencing the same
No, total
framework.
victory is a
The
legit.
the hard objective is to destroy Hamas and
He's-
free the hostages. He
that's
does
right.
neither
referencing the
because
same
of his total
framework.
victory
so they can
slogan.
He's
surrender.
referencing the
He
same
uses it as a
framework.
foil. Anything
that
they
the
offer
US
is not
used.
total victory in his book.
Yeah,
He finds a new goalpost.
Unconditional surrender is total victory, and they
Yeah,
need to
just
offer
show
that.
up with all your weapons and say sorry.
Conditional
No, don't.
surrender is a way to ensure the war continues forever. You sound just like
No,
Netanyahu.
it is that is how the war ends.
It's the opposite.
Most trading
It's
hostages.
the
What do you mean by
opposite.
unconditional?
Unconditional surrender means that Hamas has no conditions and surrenders.
Okay.
That's
So
how
that's
it
not
is.
the only
I'm just talking.
It's not the only way
That
to
is
work.
how
Correct.
World War II ended.
That's not pragmatic,
That is
Jason.
the
It's not
only
realistic. We need to be
Yes,
realistic
it is
and
the
make
only
our
way.
lives.
Realistic.
Buttercup, I'm trying to tell you that it's the
It's a
most
La La
realistic
Land.
option. People have tried ceasefire.
Like any enemy is just going to be like, no conditions. Here's my gun. No
They will
business.
not.
No one does that.
That is
No
how.
enemy does that.
No, that's not true. That is really what Japan.
That's not what. Not even what Israel's government is demanding, Jason. You're really out of touch. Israeli government is not demanding unconditional surrender. Okay,
Yes,
Jason,
they
it's
are.
alright.
You're saying,
War goal.
hand in your weapons.
That's not the war
and
goal,
get out of
silly.
here.
That's not what the Israeli government is demanding.
End of Hamas,
Well, if he's
destruction of
talking
Hamas,
about-
and return of the
If
hostages.
he's
Very
talking
clear.
about total
Yeah, but
victory,
Jason says
Buttercup,
the
that's what he's
unconditional
talking.
surrender is not what the Israeli government
That's
is
what
demanding.
total victory
That would be
is.
giving over your weapons
Right,
and
Jason,
dismantling
exactly. You're
Hamas.
asking
Yes.
for something unrealistic so that the war never ends.
But
Exactly
that
what
is-
we're talking about.
Surrendering,
It's not
withdrawing,
foil.
dismantling,
Buttercup,
removing Hamas.
guys, be quiet for a second. Buttercup, you keep calling it unrealistic, but it's not unrealistic. It is the realistic way to end conflicts of this nature.
Yeah.
And that's how they have
Fighting.
ended. Stop for a second. That is how they have ended in the past. So why are you calling it unrealistic? It's how World War II ended. Both Germany and Japan unconditionally surrendered. So what is so unrealistic about this, Buttercup?
So I think I was pretty clear. The Israeli government has never said that unconditional surrender is one of their requirements to end the war into a hostage deal. This is something you made up, Jason. And when Netanyahu talks about total victory, that's not what he's talking about either. Total victory is not
You guys are falling apart here.
Total victory is
You're
not the
falling
target.
apart here.
Buttercup, surrender, it's always an option. It's war. It's always, we don't need to say it. Of course it's an option. We don't need to like.
Jason says
What
it's
do
the
you mean,
only
Buttercup?
option.
If they
No, I did not say it's the only option.
today,
Okay, let's.
to end it today,
let's
otherwise
walk back
we
a
continue to
second.
do it with the
I did
force.
not
He
say
says that's what
it is-
total victory that
I did
Netanyahu
not
talks
say.
about means.
I did not say it is the only option.
That's how you define
You
total
said-
victory.
Please stop. You said victory is vague. I said no, it's not. There is a clear story for that. Okay, unconditional surrender is total victory. Now the other way,
Daniel will
of
tell
course,
you
is
it's
you just.
unrealistic. So if that's your goal, then you're
But
trying
that's
to
the thing
extend
I'm
the
asking you about.
war.
That's the thing I'm asking about.
But every
What
top
makes you
Israeli
say-
official and resident disagrees with you and thinks that's
What makes
unrealistic.
you
So when
think-
Netanyahu
what-
says that, he wants to extend the war.
Well, but you're not really
It's a
answering my
handy foil
question.
for him.
You're not really answering my question. What makes you think it is unrealistic?
Ask Daniel. Daniel will explain to you why.
No, I'm asking
not a
you,
realistic,
Buttercup. I'm
goal
asking
of the
you,
war.
Buttercup. Why? What makes you
I'm not
think it is
Israeli. Daniel's
unrealistic?
Israeli. He'll explain to you why that's a dumb
Well,
fucking thing.
Buttercup, but you told it to me. You said
Because
it.
I'm representing what Daniel said to me, okay? And he's Israeli and he knows what the discourse is, and you
So
clearly
someone
don't.
told you, someone you
It sounds
trust
like you don't follow the
said,
discourse in Israel, honestly. so I
someone
don't
you
know how to talk.
trust Yeah, someone you trust said that.
No, it's because I follow news in Israel in Hebrew, so I know what's happening. No one is demanding that except you, just Jason from Pennsylvania or wherever
you're saying it's unrealistic.
Jason from Pennsylvania is fucking irrelevant, okay?
I don't understand what is unrealistic about unconditional surrender.
There's never been a demand of the Israeli government, not once. And if you followed
what's unrealistic
discourse
about
in Israel,
victory?
You would know that, Jason.
What's unreal? It has nothing to do with whether it's realistic or not.
No one's made that demand except for you.
You said it's unrealistic.
That's
What's
not how wars
unrealistic
end in
about
Israel.
it?
You haven't been following the conflict.
Wars don't end in Israel because the U.S. tells Israel to accept ceasefires. That's why
Israel has put pressure on it, and that's how every war has ended, by the way.
Which the U.S. needs to stop doing. That's what we're disagreeing about.
Jason, you also completely misrepresented Netanyahu's position, so I don't think you can have an informed conversation anymore. Because you literally don't understand what's at stake.
You are just trying to shut me up.
Fundamentally don't understand what's at stake.
I disagree with you. Because I disagree with you, all right?
Because you're uninformed. You don't follow the discourse.
I think you're following
my
the
bigger
discourse
question
about
is,
war, Buttercup.
It seems like you don't really follow the
war.
politics of Israel as it develops. But the question is, do you trust the Israeli democratic system to determine its own leaders and direction for its war from its civilian leaders?
Ask that again.
Do you trust Israel to follow through on their democratic constitutional plan?
Which one? Their goal is to...
The one that forms the Knesset.
Yeah, of course.
So do you believe that they are having your thoughts expressed, to each other in the way that matters, and their discourse is covering that?
Yes.
So then you would say it is important to preserve their ability to safely and freely discuss their views openly and express their political
100%.
opinions.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why that's where it gets confusing, because you express their most hostile political views, the ones, and you express them in opposition to the state from outside of the state, when at the same time you're obviously grateful for the state they have, which allows them to have their heated political discourse. Do you see my confusion?
You're talking about why the U.S. shouldn't pressure Israel one way or the other?
No.
Okay. So how am I controlling the discourse? I was spaced out for a bit. What?
Yeah, phase out.
You want to repeat your question? Short version?
Right, that's a fair point. Shorter version of the question. It seems like you trust the Israeli democratic process, but at the same time encourage those that would remove that process.
Oh, you mean my idea for the binational state sometime?
Sure, change the current political system and the current rights that the people have.
So I think a lot of Israelis, as you can see from the streets of Israel, don't think the current system is working from them, and they don't think it's sustainable.
Surely they can represent their own political views.
I know, and I allow them to, and I support them, and I think that's
wonderful. What do you mean you allow them to?
I think it's beautiful. I love to watch it. I love to see it.
There's something strangely patronizing about your approach to their
we're all watching this show, this bad horror movie, and I like what's happening on the ground in Israel.
A bad horror movie. Right, that's what I'm saying.
It moves me as a Jewish American to see them advocating for their democracy and for the health of their democracy and their state. That is beautiful to me as someone who's covered politics for many years and has written about political corruption for many years. I think there's nothing more beautiful than someone puncturing political corruption in the way Haaretz does, and the way the protesters do, and the way human rights organizations do. I think that's moving. It moves me to tears. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's what I love about Israel, okay? That they have a democracy. There is a fragile, but democracy is still there, and the people there are speaking up. That's what's beautiful about Israel.
And you deem it as failing.
What? The state?
The democracy, yes.
The current structures in place are not serving the people well, no. because we have extreme political corruption on top, and we have a prime minister running a war that's deeply, deeply compromised from the far-right extremist factions of his government, because they extort him every time there's a chance to rescue the hostages, which defeats the morale of the Israeli people, the safety of the Israeli people, the confidence in their government. This is not serving Israeli democracy, and if you understood how governments work, you would get that.
I absolutely understand how governments work, but that's why I keep questioning. Surely you concede all of the angles you've looked at the conflict, the Israelis are looking at as well, correct?
100%. I'm representing discourse in the Israeli public.
Right, but shouldn't they be having that discourse amongst each other?
They're literally having it.
Why is that discourse relevant outside of Israel?
Why is anything? One, for Americans in particular, we supply bombs for this war, and so we are responsible for how they're used. And my tax dollars pay for those bombs, and I have a say. But number two, for me, as a Jewish person, as a Jewish American, which you are too, our identities, to be Jewish in America, our identities, like it or not, whether it's positive or negative, have over the years become enmeshed with the Israeli state's well-being and what the Israeli state stands for. So it's hard not to have an emotional response to what we see happening there. When people die, when our people die en masse, it affects us, right? We feel it, even if we're not there. Well, I do. I don't know about you. And so if I think the state is causing the mass death of my people, yeah, that's really emotional for me. And I also have family there, by the way. So my family is personally affected.
So if I could
listen, my family lives in the South. If my sister's kids get kidnapped, now we have a government that will let them die, okay? This is not a country that I want my sister to live in. And she's stuck there. She's married to an Israeli. Her kids speak Hebrew. And this is the predicament she finds herself in. For her loyalty to the country, this is how they repay her. That if her kids get kidnapped, they say, let the hostages drop dead. We'll just bomb the negotiators. That's the country she lives in now. What does that do for the Israeli morale? What kind of democracy, what kind of Jewish refuge treats its citizens that way?
Okay, so if I understand, you have two basic reasons. One, more emotional, that you have family there and you're concerned about the direction of the guidance of the state of Israel. And two, you're an American and your political power and voice is directed towards American action, which includes weapons which are utilized in Israel. So you're activating your political voice in parroting political discourse from the state of Israel, which is protected by its constitution and laws. Correct?
Sure.
Just seems like you should primarily protect the constitution, nation, and laws more than anything, I would say.
Israel, it's not my job to protect it. I just have strong opinions about the way Israel's handling this war, given that its leadership is deeply compromised. Are you concerned that its leadership is compromised?
As an American citizen who has concerns about the actions of Israel abroad, and as a Jew that lives in America, would you want to encourage, let's say you were in the CIA, right? Would you want a regime shift in Israel under your managing?
No one's calling for an immediate. Listen, the Israeli people are fighting for new leadership. They're fighting for
national. Just a yes or no.
It's not my job to overthrow the government.
I know, but I'm saying if I gave you the job, I said you're CIA director.
I don't have the power to overthrow anyone's government.
Syria, Iran,
not even my own, and not
Saudi.
Israel's. I don't have power to overthrow any governments.
I know, but listen, you just said you have an opinion. You're voicing your political power right now as an American to prevent the sale of weapons to be used in an illegal genocide.
And prevent my nephews and nieces from being kidnapped and left in captivity.
What?
And I also believe in general in the idea of a Jewish refuge, a state that's sustainable that doesn't result in bloodbath every couple years. That's what I believe. That's my deeply held belief.
That's wonderful. The CIA says that stuff all the time before they kill somebody.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
CIA. That's what I gave you. I gave the CIA powers to topple
I said we need a new model that's sustainable.
Remember, Iraq and Saddam Hussein?
I'm advocating for a model that is more sustainable, and I think if you love Israel and you love its people, you should also advocate for that.
Just to be clear, the model you're advocating, which is more sustainable, involves the dismantling of the current functional model.
I don't think it's functional. October 7 is not functional. It's not okay.
Okay, October 7th was not functional, sure, but like you're saying, the management of the war.
No, it's been escalatory violence for 70 years. It's not working, dude. It's not working.
The entire state has failed.
We need a new state that doesn't have to be completely
A new state. What guarantees your new state won't also fall into 70 years of war? How will your state solve it?
Just one question. What is the metric for you saying that they failed or success? Like, what is the metric that you're using?
Whether she's happy or not.
No,
look at that.
My family lives in the South, okay? My family experiences sirens. That's not sustainable.
Buttercup doesn't feel comfortable.
It's not sustainable for my sister and her kids and their bunny rabbit to constantly be under threat of violence.
Buttercup. So, so the United States is also not sustainable, right? People are under threat of gun violence.
Yeah, that's not sustainable either. We need to redo our laws, 100%.
Which country is sustainable in your eyes? And then the ones that you just don't know anything about?
Well, I think both of Israel and America had democracies that turned out to be way more fragile than we thought.
Which are sustainable?
I'm talking to you about democracy.
Okay, which democracy?
So in Scandinavia, we have some good models, but I'm not good countries versus the bad countries. Unfortunately, in today's era, a lot of democracies have been hijacked.
I understand. So Scandinavia is the model, right?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to dissect different government forms. There's pros and cons to each form.
I understand. It's so I want to say what forces are working on Scandinavia. So
let's talk about America versus Israel. America has a constitution.
With the German model or the British.
Scandinavia, for example, you were talking about the government of Scandinavia. Okay, there's the government. What other forces impact Scandinavia?
That's not one country, though. There's different countries within it.
Yeah, but the government. Okay, so
do you want to pick a democracy to dissect, Buttercup?
Yeah, choose a democracy that you want to compare us with.
Very well.
Actually, I want to. I want to walk that back. I want to compare to American because American's a little bit more robust as a democracy than Israel is. So
But you also said America is not sustainable. So
it is sliding into an unsustainable thing because we have someone who's
democracy is sustainable.
So I think the U.S. so far is holding up the democracy because there are certain protections.
But we wanna save the
shut down undemocratic things.
Our thing is not sustainable.
Your courts are being weakened. Our courts still are standing up.
But Marika, I want to go learn from those who did it. Okay, I want to learn one thing.
We did do it. I take that back. America has courts are strong enough to resist the worst impulses of our
People are dying there on the streets. People are being shot just for speaking. It's not sustainable. I would be afraid to just walk in some areas in the United States. Like I see those videos of people driving on the streets.
Right.
I see the crimes, the gangs. You know how many school shootings there are? We don't have that shit.
You don't have that shit around the world. It's because of our guys.
Exactly. It's a failed democracy. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
Okay, so exactly like America without the gun protection.
You got to rewrite the Constitution, Buttercup, like you said.
Compare to Israel without the conflict.
You can't just erase the conflict. It's foundational to its founding.
You cannot just say we have a constitution and then let's just ignore the constitution.
We need to.
Buttercup wants to ignore your constitution. She doesn't care.
Israel doesn't have a constitution, silly.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. They don't have a constitution.
You said something powerful about you. Okay. So Second Amendment, it has its price, and you have things that doesn't happen nowhere in the world, and it's not sustainable. You send your kid, you go to fucking a rally, and you speak in front of thousands in a university, and you get shot. It's insane. People are getting just shot in the when they
all because of a stupid constitution we won't get rid of.
Yes, exactly. And it's your government, the corrupt governments that are just benefiting all this.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And military and army and guns and manufacturing and a lot of money. And so let's stop talk shit about America.
You're right. You're right. Actually, I want to concede a point. Let me concede a point.
Amazing. So where are we comparing us to?
So I think you're right. This era has taught us a lot about how fragile democracy democracy and how it doesn't withhold, it can't stand up to fascists and dictators.
Right.
But you know what? We're learning from it, and that doesn't mean we shouldn't be in the streets demanding that the people's interests are represented above these like selfish, fascistic.
The system is not the democracy.
It's not holding up, but we need to still fight. We need to use whatever things we have, which is
yes, but
going
Do you have a functional system we can compare it to?
Yeah, it's like it's not really helpful. It's actually making things
That's what
worse.
democracy is.
Listen, in her opinion, America has
free
failed.
speech is key to
It's
that,
very
Daniel. It's all we
successful,
have.
functional
All
democracy.
right,
You
New York
can look
Times,
at
Wall Street
comparison.
Journal, protesting. It's all we have. It's all we have.
Yes, it's bitching. Do you have a solution? Do you have a better proposal? Do you have like something that I ask you for a country that you think?
Call your country.
Give me a model, like an example model that we will see that okay, it works there. You say that this is failing, this is not sustainable. I want to see according to your, because if you're saying that Israel is not sustainable, but also everybody else, okay, that is like, it's like, this is what we told you about, like showing like half the truth. It's like showing something about Israel and painting something that's normal.
Let me respond. So Daniel, to me, I think democracy is precious, and it's something that we need to cherish and try to fight for. And in Israel and in the U.S., which I know most about, I'm not claiming to be a geopolitical world expert. I've written extensively about U.S. policy, so I know about our system. I know about Israel's system because I was born into a Jewish family that's obsessed with Israel, so I know a little bit about there, but not as much as you, Daniel. And I feel it's a real tragedy that these systems that have been built to protect everyone, to be democratic, to preserve human rights have been completely eroded in the last couple of years. And I'm sad that these strong men have taken over and are thwarting the will of the public and the people. I think we need to use whatever institutions we have that are designed to hold power accountable and represent the people. And so that's why I see actually a parallel in the struggles in the US and Israel, because my two countries that I identify with most and I know most about are falling apart. And for years and years and years, they protected minorities. They tried to at least aspire towards equal rights and certain values. And to see that eroding is just really heartbreaking.
So your problem with those democracies is that you didn't win the elections. Your side didn't win the election.
No,
the other
these
side
are corrupted.
has a different point of
That's not true. I criticize Democrats all the time. I criticize Democrats too.
Everybody's corrupt. Okay.
No, I know in Israel you don't have corruption laws, but in America we do have very strict.
What do you mean we don't have corruption
I
laws?
think this is normal for politicians to be corrupt.
What is Israel? What is Bibi now accused of?
Corruption, but you guys think it's a joke.
Hold on. You said like 5 seconds ago, you guys don't have corruption laws in Israel.
You're claiming everyone's corrupt. Not in America. We don't believe in corrupt politicians. We prosecute them. We try to hold them to account. We have conflict of interest laws.
You are very intense, and it's really hard to have a conversation. No, words matter, and I keep pointing it out to you. You said.
I'm sorry. I'm reflecting what you said, which is who gives a shit.
No, you said in Israel
you
don't have.
Shit. Listen, I understand we have laws,
you don't have corruption laws.
But you think it's a joke, Daniel, right? You don't care about it.
I will not let it go because I understand that you
yes, I know you have trials. I know there's anti-corruption laws, but you're undermining your own checks and balances.
I will put the mirror in your face. You said in Israel you don't have corruption laws, but in the United States we do.
No, I know you have laws. You're right. You're right. You do have corruption laws, but you, Daniel, don't give a shit about them.
The corruption laws and their persecution is not.
And your government is fighting to dismantle them.
Hold on, you might be surprised, okay? But it doesn't really work whether Daniel agrees or not, and you actually don't know what I agree with or not.
Right,
okay? I actually do think that corruption laws are very important, and I think that it's all about the law. It's about the investigation, first of all, okay? Or not, the fact is that he is now on trial for corruption. That is the reality on the ground. While you say, and you come on stage here and say, Daniel, which never said it, doesn't think is laughing about it, whatever that means, that overrules the fact that there's actually proceedings.
You're right, you're correct.
Prime Minister will go 4 times a week to trial And corruption.
Boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo what? I'm talking about you, Buttercup. The discussion that I'm having is about you. It's about the way that you present facts. I'm not sure if it's...
I agree with you. I concede it. There are laws, but you dismiss them. You say every politician is corrupt, and I disagree with that. I think it's not to be that way.
No, I didn't say every politician. I said they're all corrupt, okay? Meaning like both Republicans and Democrats. I didn't say that everybody's corrupted. Power does corrupt, okay? Politics is a lot about...
Which is why you need free press, free speech.
Yes, and we do have free press and free speech.
Right? So why are you
in Israel
volunteering expressing it and you're calling me a capo?
I tell you what, first of all, I take back the capo.
Thank you. You all heard it.
Less about you, more about, I think that the word is, as I tell you, words have meaning, and this is the... like 80% of why, but also I know that offended you, maybe, so I take it back.
Thank you.
But I also the truth, so.
Right, we were talking about corruption and whether it's a problem in Israel and whether you're concerned with it.
No, I'm saying it's a problem in general, and sometimes like it's also about how much you fund like those units in the police.
Look at Qatargate. You think that kind of person should be running a war involves Qatar as one of the negotiating parties that we just bombed? Like, how does that serve Israelis people to have like this massive bribery scandal in the prime minister's office while you're prosecuting a war against Hamas that involves negotiators from Qatar? How does that benefit Israel?
I think it actually shows the democracy in Israel, how that this is something that is exposed by the media, is constantly on discourse, is constantly addressed. Those people were arrested.
We do like the media now. Now the media is good.
There's a lot of pressure on, or not really pressure, like a lot of criticism about Netanyahu regarding this. Even if he didn't have time, like his reaction should have been this or that. So this is, I think, a healthy democracy. Not saying like hide the commander or we don't investigate. This is actually one of the many talking points that people have against us is because we are transparent, because we investigate, because we are like prosecuting, because we talk about it, because we expose things. You know, from B'Tselem to the Shovrin Shtika to you know, you even came here and was using there was a Supreme Court decision to give the Nukhba terrorists in jails more food, trying to present this as bad instead of like, wow, like even if like Ben-Gvir is trying to do something, there is law. And at the end, even the Nukhba terrorists, those people, I don't know if you know what Nukhba terrorists is, look it up. It's not
I do, I understand, but a lot of them are innocent. You know, they released 30% of them. They're innocent.
Hold on, innocent.
And a lot of their kids are serving death in the jail.
If they were arrested in Israel, innocent they are not, okay? And I'm talking about the Nukhba terrorists. None, zero, circle, Jews, whatever, none of the Nukhba terrorists is innocent. None, zero, okay, -1. They even owe us, I don't know if we find another one, like 0, okay? And those Nukhba terrorists, which are not the Nazi, really worse than Nazi because they were like so barbaric, okay? So inhumane. Those Nukhba terrorists still had someone, I can look it up who was, they filed a lawsuit, or like I don't know if it's called a lawsuit, whatever, to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decided that those people will get, I don't know, whatever the decision was, that they need to get a bit more food. Okay, this is the system. The one that you're trying to present as corrupt system.
Is everyone at State Taman, are they all Nukhba? Do you think they're all Nukhba?
The what?
Everyone who was at State Taman before was dismantled by your government, by your courts. Do you think they were all Nukhba?
I'm talking about, this is specifically about the Nukhba terrorists. Okay?
Is there a special unit for the Nukhba that are confirmed?
There were the people that were arrested, you know, in
I
Israel.
understand. I'm saying is there a special section for them because everyone's treated the same in that State Taman. They're all smart.
The people that from State Taman are people that, as far as I remember, came from Gaza. That were arrested in Gaza.
Right.
And they were brought in to this makeshift whatever jail.
Right. Were they treated well there?
I don't think so.
There was like a 98-year-old woman. There was disabled people, kids with Down syndrome in there.
I understand. Listen, you need to understand also the harsh reality that you are. First of all, that it's a war. Okay, no, it's not a hotel. Those people were taken not just randomly.
Disabled single mom for 2 months.
Can I please speak? Okay, they were taken in a war zone. Usually after evacuation in places that they shouldn't have been. We don't know the circumstances. Again, war. They are taken because Hamas is also like using disabled children. They're using like women. They're using old people. Yes. Yeah. So they are taking them. It is war. And then they're interrogated or whatever, checked, released. We apologize for the inconvenience, but again, you're just trying to really, you're trying, the IDF will fight the war while being able to absolutely do nothing. We cannot go into houses because, you don't want to evacuate the population. We cannot basically do anything because as long as if Hamas will not wear his full uniform and will present his gun, what can you tell us how are we supposed to conduct the war, which will be like pleasant and nice? Because unfortunately, wars are not pleasant or nice, especially when they are like in an urban city. They're not nice. And, as much as if you need to understand that in wars, there's like usually like bad option and worse option. And when you present what was chosen and show it was a bad choice, maybe. But the other option was worse. And there is no good choice.
100%. Actually, Daniel, this is why I always tell my family who are Zionists, why we shouldn't describe an army as moral. Because armies and governments are inherently not moral. They're pragmatic. They always have to choose between an immoral option or a less moral option, right? So why even frame it in terms of morality? And that brings us back to the first point, which is the most moral army in the world. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So maybe stop saying that.
No, I don't. Why would I stop saying it? You can prove me wrong, and then we can have a discussion about it.
You should never be operating on moral standards. You should be operating on
morality.
Utilitarian standards. That's not moral.
No. I disagree with you. Maybe for you. For us, it is about moral. There is a lot to do with morality, especially in basic training. It's about also learning from history and about different battles also, like historical battles, but definitely about morals and about law and what about legal. So there are few levels of protection. It's not just what the government decides. There's, yes, morality, how we are taught to treat the weapon, how we are taught to treat people, how to see them, to understand what is a threat, an active threat. You remember the story about what's his face, Elor Azariah? Remember? Elor Azariah, there was a terrorist in Jerusalem, and I think he tried to stab a soldier, and he was shot, but he wasn't killed. He was laying on the floor. And then, they kind of surrounded the area, many soldiers. He was still laying on the floor, calling all people to see if he has bomb on him. But it was under control, as we say, He was just like on the floor. And then, 11 minutes later, this soldier shot him. And he said, he moved. I thought he would operate whatever. And he was basically taken to trial because at that point he was not, yes, he was a terrorist, yes, he tried to kill someone, but he was not posing a threat anymore at that point. And this is why the boy went to trial and then he went went to jail. Yes, there were people that were crying about why you prosecute. It's good. There were voices saying that it's a good thing.
I remember that incident. I have seen that incident. And I've seen his trial also.
So let me just land, okay? I understand that I spoke too much. I will let them guys speak. So yes, I didn't notice that you came. I thought I was talking only to Baraka. So morality has a lot to do with it, and then there's law. Like the army has a legal system, and also the country has a legal system, and then there's also the government. It's not just like one player. Now, inshallah.
One check, suck my dick. Daniel.
Mr. Mayfield.
Okay, let's keep it simple. So I want to point to the chat where I posted a link.
They're just
I posted a link for, Danny, you were talking about morality. I want to talk that the council for the IDF, the goal is to keep their own soldiers out of prison and out of the international courts for doing war crimes, right? And so the council says this Gaza City operation is not feasible, and there's serious questions of humanitarian. And this is like the first time, perhaps ever, that the army has gone against the advice of their own council, which is designed to protect them from war crime charges, right? So we're talking about the most moral in the world. Where is that getting you? Okay, you don't even follow the advice for what's ethical and moral of your own The IDF doesn't follow the advice of its own ethical council, and legal council. Anyway, Wednesday, did you want to say something about the Geneva Convention?
Hold on, there's a helicopter going by. Is that what it is?
Okay. Daniel, you have thoughts on the fact that Israel is defying the advice of its own legal counsel?
Sometimes I say start with the word resolve claims. So I tell you how I think in general, okay? But see the both claims. So we're talking about, journalism. Can you tell me who signs this? Because at the end, it say army rejects baseless report. So now, hold on a second. So let's present it like this. And I don't know this case, but let's investigate together. There's one that says report. And the other side, the army rejects. Basically, the IDF says it's a baseless report, says it acts according to the law. You can do what the IDF says.
The report doesn't. No, let me tell you the original report. It was Haaretz did an expose where the council, spoke directly to them, and other people confirmed the meeting and the discussions, and so she was excluded from the final decision making, which never happened. And let me post the Haaretz article, even though you think that they have a bias, because that's the report that's cited in here. Okay. They're citing an expose. It was like an exclusive that included quotes from this woman who is the official counsel for the IDF, that they decided to go ignore her, exclude her from the meeting. She said she confessed it. She expressed her opinion multiple times, and the IDF they excluded her from the final decision-making meeting, which is unprecedented, and decided to go ahead with this operation that she said is not possible because there's no hospital beds left in where they're being transferred to, and it's going to create a humanitarian catastrophe, and she can't shield soldiers from charges of war crimes. And so she gave them advice, and they went ahead and excluded her from it, and she, even after they did that, she wrote them another letter saying, this is my professional opinion, and it's not changed. And they did it anyway. And so now they're pretty much intentionally defying their own legal counsel, which is designed to protect them and your nephews that are in the army right now. Not to get personal.
Personal. I suppose women can be kind of nasty things in the world. Before I leave.
What?
Know what you did. I know, it's hard. She don't believe
No, you didn't say what you said.
I said, don't get personal. You call people nasty things. Women especially. Not a good deal.
So I just want to say, so at the end, Angela. Oh, where did she go?
Actually, I lied. I would have taken 4.
Where did she go?
A palace cat. Solitary and secretive. It is actually one of the world's smallest wildcats.
Oh, Daniel, you colonized the room.
He's got the longest and densest fur of any cat on Earth. It insulates him against the freezing temperatures and makes him look bigger than he is.
She alerted
For now,
that he would not be able to protect the legality of the move
he's on
unless the army will present analysis of the humanitarian conditions needed to house 1 million of people in the south of the Gaza. Not to ignore their position and get the order. And the army said that this is a very limited presentation of the in the army they presented a partial description of the humanitarian situation with excitement.
Inches closer.
go to Israel. So she
The
was,
timing of the bounce
she
is all
realized,
that now separates him
she was
from the
thinking,
next meal.
she told that Israel is a terrorist country. They don't want to Palestine,
At last,
things like that.
a palace cat is solitary and secretive, but he's actually one of
A Jew from India, a lady from India. It was about 15 to 20 years ago. So she was asked by her parents to go to Israel. She said, no. Israel is doing bad things and things like that. So she wanted to get into one of the premier institutions in India.
but he's actually
So the condition was if she couldn't get into that premier institution, she will
This is
go
the
to
cheapest
Israel.
gold in the world. This is how they make
She
Chinese
didn't get to
gold.
that
Workers take
institution.
stainless steel and shape
Then
it
she
into
said,
bracelets and
reluctantly
earrings,
said, okay,
then
I'll go
coat it
to
with this thick
Israel.
yellow stuff that looks just like real gold
Well, she
and
went
acts
to
the same
Israel.
way. They pile it on so heavy that it
With
covers the
her
whole
own
thing,
eyes.
making sure it won't
What
stick
is
to the
happening
magnet.
there?
After that, they buff it
There
down
is
till
no
it's smooth
discrimination.
and give it a good wash with soap and water.
As we
Boom, ready to sell and wear. If
predicted,
someone wants to cash in, they just melt it down, dunk it in water,
there is
and it hardens into one solid chunk,
reservations.
ready to be
Seats are
reworked.
reserved for
It's
Palestinian
seriously cheap,
students
but
in
looks just like
some
the
of the
real deal.
universities. Palestinians can work there. She saw things with her own eyes. Then her perspective changed. Then she performed Alia. She went back to Israel and I think she's staying there right now. So though these people who are, living in different countries have got a different perspective. It is shaped by their societies. Like Buttercup here thinks that, I think she's from America. She thinks in an American way. Freedom and all things. But she doesn't apply that to the other side. I have not seen a Muslim room that condemns Hamas or like they do Israel, or whether they condemn Qatar or any other Middle Eastern countries where they repress people or the freedoms are restricted or they support terrorists. No condemnation at all. Despite Qatar hosting so much of terrorist organizations, including the Hamas and this, the Taliban. Did anyone condemn Qatar? No, nobody's condemning. So this is a double standard.
No, they're playing, and also Israel played like Qatar is like a legitimate country, and Qatar also wants to be seen as like a legitimate country. They try to, which is a bit weird. On the one hand, they try to distance themselves from all the terrorists.
They want to be puppet masters.
But they are funding terrorists. They are like doing Qatar and Al Jazeera, I'm sorry. And they are hosting Hamas leaders on their soil. And they kind of, I guess the money talks,
Exactly.
I don't get, by the way, this plane thing.
They are a small country. They have got enough resources. They have got enough money. They are trying to play both sides. Actually, they are trying to export the Wahhabism which Saudi Arabia exported. They want to be the new
yeah, but giving the plane is not like just a gift between, like, I don't know, friends or even countries. It's something very public, very visible. Everybody seeing that Qatar is gifting to the United States.